What if I told you you've probably already met a psychopath and didn't even realize it? They don't look dangerous. They don't act insane. In fact, they might be the most charming person you've ever talked to, and that's exactly what makes them so hard to detect. Now imagine this. You're sitting across from someone. They're calm, confident, and completely in control. They smile at the right moments. They say all the right things, but deep down, something feels off. Not enough to walk away, just enough to make you question it later. That's what talking to a psychopath feels like. At first, it feels normal. They're smooth. They're likable. They know how to keep a conversation going. But the more you talk, the more you start to notice small things. Their emotions don't quite match the situation. Their stories feel slightly rehearsed, and no matter what you say, they always seem one step ahead. Because they're not just talking to you, they're studying you. They're watching how you react, learning what makes you comfortable, what makes you nervous, what makes you trust. And once they figure that out, they use it. Psychopaths don't experience emotions the same way most people do. They don't feel guilt. They don't feel empathy. At least not in the way you and I do. So when they lie, they don't hesitate. When they manipulate, they don't feel bad. To them, it's not personal. It's just strategy. And that's what makes them so dangerous. Because while you're having a normal conversation, they're playing a completely different game. One of the most unsettling things about psychopaths is how well they can pretend. They create a version of themselves, a personality designed to fit in perfectly. They watch people, they copy behaviors, they learn what emotions are supposed to look like, and then they perform. So when you talk to them, you're not seeing who they really are. You're seeing a mask. And the scary part? That mask can be incredibly convincing. You might even like them, trust them, feel comfortable around them, without realizing none of it is real. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Psychopaths don't think the way most people do. Where you see people, they see opportunities. Where you feel emotions, they see weaknesses. Where you build connections, they calculate outcomes. That's why they stay so calm under pressure. Situations that would make most people panic don't affect them the same way, because emotionally, they're not as invested. But here's the truth most people don't realize. Not all psychopaths are criminals. In fact, many of them live completely normal lives. They can have careers, relationships, even positions of power. Some studies suggest that certain high-pressure professions actually attract people with these traits, because being fearless, being emotionally detached, can sometimes look like confidence, and that's why they're so hard to spot. But if you pay close attention, there are small signs. They charm you quickly, but it feels shallow over time. They avoid real emotional depth. They twist conversations in their favor, and no matter what happens, they rarely take responsibility. Still, it's important to remember, not everyone with these traits is a psychopath. Human behavior is complex, and context always matters. But understanding these patterns can help you see things more clearly, because the reality is, the most dangerous people aren't the ones who look scary. They're the ones who seem completely normal, the ones you would never suspect. So the next time you meet someone who feels almost too perfect, too smooth, too in control, take a second to think, are they being genuine, or are they just really good at pretending?